Welcome to our weekly coach show. This time we're talking with Bradley Central head wrestling coach, Ben
Smith.
I know that. I was going to say if you did. Ben Smith, the coach.
Yes.
I'm your host, Gary Ownbey. Ben, you've got a lot of things going on right now. Just have in the last few days. You got a huge schedule coming up now. But let's back up before we talk about what's coming up.
Sure.
Last weekend, you guys participated in a tough tournament. I believe the starters were in Atlanta,
yes.
or that area.
Yeah, we started last week off. We had Macaulay on Tuesday. Private school state runner-up, very, kind of a perennial powerhouse.
Right.
So we had a really good match with them on Tuesday. We were able to come out on the winning side of that, and then we started our district schedule on Thursday with the McMinn here at home. Kind of felt like we looked a little sloppy. I don't know if there's a little hangover.
How can a 72-0 win be sloppy?
Because it's not 84-0.
Okay.
And
all right.
it just, I don't know.
Coaches are never satisfied.
Never. And then we had our JV at Ottawa JV tournament, like our JV freshmen. All had 15 sophomores and freshmen at the Ottawa JV tournament. Had 10 champs, 4 runner-ups, and a third. So we had a real good Friday night. Turned around that next morning, and I sent 7 different varsity guys or JV guys to the Ottawa varsity tournament. Had 3 champs and 1/3. So, and we got 5th as a team with 7 kids in a 16-man varsity tournament, and those are all JV kids.
Wow.
And then I took my travel squad down to Atlanta to the Mountain View Duels. Be our 3rd year down there. They're a big 7A school in Gwinnett County. And we finished 2nd, finished runner-up to Woodland, Cartersville. Well.
Probably some of the toughest competition you'll see in an area like that.
Up to this point, yeah. I mean, in the Georgia Coach T polls, Woodland Cartersville is the 2nd ranked overall team in Georgia, behind Camden County, and they beat us. Beat us pretty good. I mean, we won 5 matches. Probably should have won 6. Maybe could have won 7, but they've got the bonus on us. We beat Pope, defending state runner-up 6A. That was a really good match, and they might have been better than us, but we came out pretty fired up that morning. Beat Mountain View. It's the first time we've beaten them in a couple years, but it was a busy 20 hours, but it was a fun few days. But
that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm real pleased with the way last week went.
Yeah. Well, looking forward now, coming up this week, we're here recording this on a Tuesday morning. You have a match tonight, I believe. Yeah,
we're wrestling Hickson tonight. Small school powerhouse. Coach Hall and his staff, man, they do a great job. We've got such a great relationship with them. We don't have to schedule small schools or private schools, but we do with the teams that work well with us and support us, and we support them. And Garrick and those guys just do a great job. They'll be in the mix this year. I mean, he's got several number 1 and number 2 ranked kids in their classification. Our JV gave them a good match a few weeks ago at their Vandergrift duels, but that's no indicator for what tonight would be, because the reason we keep them on the schedule is because they wrestle us tough. And it's good competition. And then we'll have Baylor. Yeah, we'll have Baylor here on Thursday. It's one of those matches that I sit down and I look at, and it feels good on paper, but then, they're good.
But you want to challenge your wrestlers with teams like that.
Oh, for sure. But, we just, you hate losing at home. If you hate putting the risk run the risk of losing at home. It's one of our bigger dual meets of the year, so we need a good gate. There's some financial implications there,
Sure.
but they're probably on paper. They're definitely the number 1 private school in the state. Maybe arguably on paper, the number 1 team in the state overall. Now, I know Cleveland has a lot to say about that, and Father Ryan and some of these other programs will. But and we're in that conversation, but we'll definitely see where we're at. They're a Woodland, if not better.
Stick for you.
Yeah, it's the way that we were with Woodland, they might be better than Woodland. But we'll see where we're at for sure.
Well, who are some of the wrestlers on the program right now that your starters have stepped up, maybe exceeding what you thought they could, or just surprising you with their efforts or their ability to win or matches, or anything caught you there?
Yeah, we've this team as a whole has it's been an interesting 6 weeks. Coaches deal with stuff every day that nobody knows that you deal with, and then you start dealing with nutrition, weight cut, just the attrition of the season, a 10-week preseason. Now you're 6 weeks in, and you've atrophied, and your body's down 15, 20 pounds, and you've survived the Thanksgiving holiday, and now Christmas is 2 weeks away, and there's a lot that we as wrestling coaches have to put up with and deal with that a lot of other coaches.
And people like me don't think about, well, wrestling, Thanksgiving, I'm going to pig
He's
out.
gonna eat.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and well, you got to make weight on Saturday too,
Yeah.
But we've had some off the mat issues that have made this team have to be perseverant and resilient. So they all really right now stick out to me. So I can't isolate one, but if I had to, this past weekend down in Mountain View, Seth Gregory, he went 4-0, and he beat the number 2 and the number 4 ranked kids in both 6 and 7A Georgia.
Wow.
And Seth's been JV for his past couple of years. That's the beauty of our program is, we'll have first-year starters as seniors that if you keep up with our program, you know who they are.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just look on paper and go, well, Bradley's 138, Seth Gregory. We don't really know a whole lot about him. He put a whipping on a couple kids this weekend that were really good. My heavyweight, Austin McClure, he's a sophomore. He's really coming into his own. He had a rough weekend a couple weekends ago at the Hickson tournament, but I saw a lot of confidence out of him this weekend, and he won some big matches. And actually, we had to win at heavyweight to win against Pope, which will be probably top 3, if not runner-up or champion in 6A. And Austin came through, and he won the match for us. So those two specifically, just I'm real high on right now because I see the confidence coming.
Yeah.
And wrestling's such a mental game that you have to be in those big matches, and you have to have those match experiences to get that confidence.
Well, you sort of led into what I was going to talk to you about. It is a mental game. It's one of those. It's not like being on a basketball team or even a football team where, in football, we got a guy here that's not really as good maybe as we need him to be, but wrestling, it is you and the world out there.
That's right.
There's no hiding in wrestling.
No.
And I'm sure wins like you're talking about can really get a guy's confidence up to a higher level.
Yeah.
And it carries over, and it also gets the rest of your team up there. Hey,
Oh,
look
for
what
sure.
he's done. I need to work harder and
Yeah.
do what this guy's doing.
For sure. And that's why we compete so much this time of year. And it's last week it was Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. This week it's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Next week is, it's just it's such a busy time of the year. And I was talking with Coach Knox over at Cleveland today on the phone, and we were talking about how little time we have practicing this time of year. And we really feel like we're
Because you're wrestling every day.
Because you're wrestling every day, and you don't want to bring kids on Sunday because, they need a break. This sport's tough, and kids need a break. They need time to be kids. They need time to recover. But, you compete now in December in some of these matches, the Baylors, the Woodlands, the Popes. Mm-hmm. You compete against them now so that when we walk into that arena, hopefully in February, which we've got to get past Saudi, and then get through the region duels. But when we walk into that arena, we've had 25 to 30 opportunities. 10 to 20 of those, our schedule's brutal. Mm-hmm. We've been there 100 times, and it's really fun for me as a coach, like last year when we were wrestling Wilson Central in the quarters. Number 6 ranked team versus number 2 ranked team. Nobody in that building thought that we had a chance to win that match except for probably us as coaches. I'm able to look at my kids and go, you've been here before. Turn around and look at you. We've been here 20 times this year. And then again with Science Hill in the semis. We've been here. We know, that's why you're here. And then, as an individual, especially, you get the confidence of being able to go out there and perform for your team. But then, like this coming weekend, we've got, we'll go to Middle Tennessee and see Tullahoma and see some big Middle Tennessee teams. But next weekend when we host our 40-team field,
right?
Wow. It's a state tournament type tournament. And you place in the Bradley Invitational, there's a good chance you're going to place in the state tournament.
Yeah.
And you get kids out there winning matches, and February rolls around, and now all of a sudden it starts making sense.
Yeah.
And we've had some time to practice. We've had some time to recover. We've had some time to rein in the competition, so to speak, and really focus on the Clevelands, the Wilson Centrals, the Science Hills, the Saudis. Mm-hmm. And then it all starts kind of making sense, and it's really fun.
And that's when, all those days of the grueling workouts, the weightlifting, the running to lose weight, the running in a sweatshirt,
Yeah.
I see you guys out there running in the heat trying to drop
Yeah.
weight. And then during the season, you got to cut weight. And then, well, Mom, I'd love to have another helping of mashed potatoes and gravy.
Right,
but no,
right.
we got a wrestling match coming up, And it's the temptation's always there, but man, it's a sacrifice. And people who are not familiar with the wrestling program like you are, and I'm not near as you live it. I'm somewhat familiar with it, but they just do not understand the effort and the sacrifice that these kids have to go through during the course of the season to be in the tip-top shape that your program demands. It's not, if you're a bear wrestler, you're going to do it the bear way.
That's right.
And you're going to be successful, or you probably won't even be a part of the program.
That's right.
That's how it works.
Well, like you said, when you walk the hallways with Turner Jackson and Steve Logsdon, and there's 26 state titles and 12 to 14 runner-ups, and I mean it's just the 194 state medalists, 69 state champions. I mean, like you can't walk through, you can't be a part of this program and not be invigorated and not be filled with what it means to be a Bradley wrestler, and then just being a wrestler in general, which is it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's not fun, It's fun when your hand gets raised.
But there's a reward at the end.
There's a reward at the end,
and
and that's where the transformational side of athletics, but wrestling and individual sports specifically, because there's a lot that in our personal lives we're all juggling. We're juggling, we're juggling academics. These guys are academic ball. There's a nutrition ball. There's a workout ball. There's a social ball. And they're just juggling. And then when they get done and hopefully they succeed and they're in the workforce and they're family men and women and they look at things in life that hit them every day and they go, I've not been here before physically, but I've been here before mentally.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it helps them get
It's
through.
cool. It's a sport that is unlike any other. That if it's a non-combative sport, it's unlike any other. But to see the life change that this vehicle of wrestling has on young men and myself, and it's a calling,
Well, and I know you're heavily involved with the FCA and all that, and you're very proud of your faith-based leadership, and I know it goes a long way in helping a lot of these kids who may not see that off campus, may not see it in their home life. I don't know. I'm not trying to speak for them, but it's appreciated what you do for these guys, and I think you're doing things the right way, and I know the parents who have their kids involved appreciate you, and the community is very supportive of that, and we wish you all the success in the world. Get those wins this week, next week in the Bradley Invitational. That's Friday, Saturday.
Friday, Saturday, yeah. We'll have Walker Valley at home on Tuesday. No, I'm sorry, we have Walker Valley at Walker Valley on Tuesday, and then we go right into tournament mode. We actually have 3 days of practice next week. I'm really excited about. Practice. Sometimes our practices are harder than our competition. It seems like at times, and we need time to catch up on technique. But that we'll go into setup mode on seed the tournament on Wednesday night, set up on Thursday, and then we'll be knocking down the doors at 1 o'clock.
Well, you made me think of something there in your comment. In your practices, your guys are practically against state-ranked other wrestlers, and that sort of is a self-feeding type of thing, Hey, if I can wrestle with this guy who's ranked whatever, maybe I can get a little better, maybe I can work a little harder, and that sort of feeds itself, I guess, over time.
Right. We talked about it. As a matter of fact, we talked about it yesterday in practice. I remember as a wrestler, 96 through 99 here, I would be more nervous coming to practice than I would going into competition, because I knew if I wasn't on my game, my backups, or when I was a backup, and that's what we talked about. Like, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. If we're not getting uncomfortable in practice, if we can get uncomfortable in practice, which I feel like we work as hard, if not harder than anybody, then when we get out there underneath the light, it's a little bit easier.
There you go.
So,
well, we thank you for joining us again today, this week.
Thank you, man.
We'll do this again soon.
Sure.
I've been your host, Gary Ownbey. This will be on the BCHS Bear Network on Facebook and YouTube. Look at it there. Enjoy it. Pass it along to your friends. And we'll be streaming that match live Thursday with Baylor. Mr. Stroyer and his crew will be streaming that live, so you can watch that. I'm not sure who's be doing the commentating. Could be
Coach Anglin
again.
Could be Coach Anglin. He does a great job.
He sure does.
He's a great thespian. He is a great speaker. So
not as great as he thinks he is, but
no, not at all. So
don't let him get that ego any bigger than this.
You got a big head already.
For Ben Smith, this is Gary Ownbey, your host, saying so long for now. God bless and go Bears.